Hello, my name is Amy Summers. Today I'm going to be giving you a quick walkthrough on how to add musicality and shape to staccato passages, specifically within string writing. So in order to do this, I'm going to use the note velocity feature in my DAW, which is Logic Pro. I select the region, I press E to open up the editor, click this icon up here, MIDI draw, and make sure that you have note velocity selected from the drop down. For any programming beginners or anyone watching this unfamiliar with the term note velocity, it's how we determine quality of sound, so how hard or soft the instrument is hit, or blown or plucked, as opposed to number of decibels. For example, if I were going to record a cymbal being hit really hard, but turn the volume of the recording right down and listen to it, I'd still know that the cymbal was being hit really hard. Here's the extract in full context with no shape yet in the violin. All I've done is input the notes. Let's have a listen. So on its own. In this style of virtuosic string writing, you often get a lot of repeated notes, and it's very easy to look at them as a bunch of repeated notes and say, okay, I'll make them all the same velocity so that it sounds even. Yes, that's a safe option. You can do that if you're limited on time and it sounds okay, but it also sounds very computer generated. To make this particular passage sound real, we need to think like a live violinist. For the purposes of this example, I'm going to say that there is just one dynamic for the whole bar, bar 42. I'm not going to go into if the whole bar was a decrescendo or a crescendo. I could make an advanced tutorial explaining how I would approach that. My first tip is to notice where the naturally strong beats occur. In this example, I'm in 4/4 time, so the strongest beats will be 1, followed by 3, followed by 2, followed by 4. If you've done any conducting, this will come in useful. So I'm just going to mimic this in the MIDI. Beat 1, I'm just going to make as the strongest, followed by beat 3, just underneath, beat 2, and beat 4. Tip number 2 is to now focus on the opposite, so you're going to reduce the note velocity on the weaker beats. In my opinion, the best and most realistic way of doing this is to phrase off from the strong beats. If we click and drag and hold, we get something like this. And I'm trying to follow on so that these are in line. Something like that. So let's have a listen. Of course, the first time you do this, it might sound a little bit jumpy. You will want to go over it with a fine tooth comb and make sure that everything sounds even. Finally, tip number 3 is thinking about any other accents or offbeat notes that you want to mark in. In this example, my beat 1 is immediately followed by a ricochet. So in order for a real life violinist to create this effect, they would let their bow bounce across the string, and the level of impact reduces with each hit, with each time the bow bounces across the string. So like I was saying in tip 2, you get a natural phrasing off. However, because I want to emphasise this ostinato as a whole, this little feature, I'm going to actually increase the note velocity for all of those notes. So we get something like this. So this note is the accent, followed by a phrasing off. Finally, you're going to want to go over the whole bar with a fine tooth comb and just make sure that all the notes are audible, nothing is too jumpy, and that it works with the rest of the mix. Okay, so I've applied similar logic to the following bars. Let's see how that compares to the original extract with no note velocity at all. Firstly, let's play the before. And after. So for kind of 5 minutes work, it will get faster with practice. You can get a lot more musicality and shape into your staccatos. That's a basic introduction to making staccato sound more realistic. If you would like to know how to do similar for legato writing, I would check out Christian Henson's video called The Secret to Orchestral Programming, in which he shows you how to use faders and expression to control natural crescendos and decrescendos in the music.